It's good morning from Brian
and Chris.
Site for Wight News for Friday the 26th of July 2019. Tuesday 30th of July. The Freshwater Coffee Morning, which meets at the End of the Line Cafe, is cancelled for this month. The Ride Coffee Morning is cancelled for this month. The swimming group will not be swimming at the waterside pool in Ryde this week, as the pool is not available this week.
Wednesday the 31st of July. The weekly coffee morning will be held at Millbrook House this week from 10:30 a.m. There will also be our low vision drop-in between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. This is a weekly event to allow you to view and try the low vision equipment we have at the Society without the need for an appointment. Thursday the 1st of August. The Cow's Coffee Morning is cancelled for this month.
Any other news? Noir anti-glare shields and filters. We now have a sample set of the most popular filters and frames available to try. These can be mixed and matched to individual requirements and then ordered. They are available to view at the Low Vision drop-in on Wednesdays, or if you would prefer to make an appointment, please contact the Society on 522205 or email members@iwsb.org.uk. Raffle tickets are now available for our annual raffle, which will be drawn on the 31st of October. The tickets are £1 each and come in a book of 5 tickets. Please contact Site for Wight on 522205 or email enquiries@iwsb.org.uk if you would like to purchase tickets. The Society is looking for donations of tombola prizes for upcoming summer shows and also donations of raffle prizes, i.e. meals, car MOTs, gift tokens, etc. from businesses. If you're able to help, please contact Site for Wight on 522205 or email admin@iwsb.org.uk. RNIB invites you to come and connect. The RNIB would like to hear your feedback and update you with what is going on in the community. So you are invited to come and connect with RNIB, other local support, and most importantly each other on Friday the 2nd of August 2019, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Honey Hill Room, the Riverside Centre, Newport. If you'd like to join the RNIB at an event, please RSVP by contacting the community facilitator Hazel Cross. Her email is hazel.cross@rnib.org.uk, or you can phone 07525 923093. Open Site Hampshire are hosting the Eye Contact exhibition on Wednesday the 25th of September 2019 between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. at the Aegeus Bowl in Southampton. It is Hampshire's biggest free exhibition, which brings together the latest equipment and services available to those with or at risk of sight loss. For more information, please call 02380 641 244 or visit their website www.opensite.org.uk. Please note that, as usual, there will be no groups or activities taking place at Millbrook House throughout August.
This week's In Touch. A corporate call to arms. Disability campaigner Caroline Casey wants company CEOs to commit to one action to include disability at board level. Caroline Casey has been campaigning for more disability inclusion for the past decade. Earlier this year, she took her cause to Davos, the summit for big corporations. She wants 500 CEOs to sign up to making and acting on one commitment around disability for their company. James McCarthy from Blind in Business, a charity working to boost the employment rates of visually impaired people at entry level, says recruiters must be incentivised to increase disabled recruitment. Presenter Peter Wight, producer Lee Kumutat.
The Isle of Wight County Press for Friday, 26th of July 2019. Attacked by hunt hounds. A woman was savagely attacked by a terrier accompanying the Isle of Wight hunt while walking through the Gatcombe countryside. She came across the hunt exercising around 30 hounds, which she said was massively intimidating in itself. A terrier with the group bit her several times on her thigh, and several of the hounds turned on her pet Sprocker Spaniel, causing an injury that needed stitches and fluid drainage. She and her husband, who asked to remain anonymous, contacted the county press because they felt despite going to the police 4 weeks on, nothing had been done, and there is a danger to the public. The Isle of Wight hunt has apologised unreservedly for the incident. The woman's husband said, "The police told us not to go to the press and asked us how we would feel if the terrier had to be put down. But we felt it would be worse if we kept quiet and the dog attacked again. It went for my wife's thigh, the same height as a child's neck or face would be, which could be deadly. This could have happened to anyone. We have heard of people who no longer walk in the area because of the hunt, and one running group has changed its route because of it. This is a loss of amenity to the community if people feel that they can no longer use the local area. We are not new to the countryside. We have walked through the Gatcombe and Carisbrooke area twice weekly for 20 years, but this is a new move for the hunt to walk such a big pack of dogs. It is not right for them to do this, especially in light of what has happened to us." A spokesperson for the Isle of Wight hunt said, "An incident took place between the owner of a spaniel and a terrier that was accompanying the pack of hounds while they were out on routine hound exercise. Although incidents of this nature are incredibly rare, they are regrettable whatever the circumstances, and steps have been taken to prevent any reoccurrences. The hunt apologises unreservedly for any distress this may have caused and is working to resolve the matter with those involved to ensure a good relationship in the future." A police spokesperson said, "A thorough investigation is ongoing and both parties have been updated regularly. Officers are working towards a resolution and those involved will be updated once a decision has been reached." The police were unable to comment on the family's claim that they were told not to go to the media with the story. Polly Portwin, head of hunting at the Countryside Alliance, said, "Hounds are routinely introduced to children, adults, pets and farm animals as well as the other sights, smells and sounds in the countryside, as part of their early education before they start their working lives, and to ensure they are familiar with whatever they encounter. Professional members of hunt staff take great pride in the management of their hounds and any other animals in their care, and are delighted to introduce their hounds to the public at any opportunity, with most hunts holding a kennels open day each summer. At the invitation of the organisers of public events, packs of hounds can also be seen throughout the summer parading at county shows and other activities where they always prove very popular.
15 months of St Mary's roundabout roadworks. Drivers have been warned to expect 15 months of disruption as a major project to remodel St Mary's roundabout and the surrounding roads gets underway. The works will involve replacing the roundabout with 2 traffic light controlled junctions. The Isle of Wight Council said last Friday it was close to finalising the scheme aimed at reducing congestion in Newport and improving access for pedestrians and cyclists at this busy junction. The project is the largest in a package of schemes to improve traffic flows from Asda to Camp Hill, financed largely by a government grant of more than £9 million, supplemented with developer contributions. The council said the works could start at the beginning of September. Such is the scale of the project, the council has warned drivers to expect delays during the 15-month construction period. Temporary traffic arrangements will be put in place, traffic lanes will be reduced, and contraflows and speed reductions introduced. To assist access to the Riverway and Dodner trading estates, parking will be suspended in both Manners View and Riverway. Discussions have been held with St Mary's Hospital and the emergency services to ensure all blue light responders are not unduly compromised by the works, as well as the Isle of Wight College and B&Q. Councillor Ian Ward, Cabinet Member for Infrastructure and Transport, said it is important to be clear from the outset that a scheme of this nature, although bringing long-term benefits, is of such a scale that some disruption to travel is inevitable. I think this project demonstrates the ability of the Council to attract government money to support schemes to benefit the whole island. I am pleased it will also bring about enhanced features, not just for cars but for pedestrians and cyclists also. The scheme is designed to future-proof the junction, given expected growth in the traffic movement and the possibility of developing land nearby for new homes and economic regeneration projects.
Readers' comments. Other than 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening, St Mary's Roundabout is totally fine. This is going to be a total nightmare and will probably make things worse. That's from David Waite. Traffic lights cause congestion and have a carbon footprint. The rest of the world knows this. That's why they are removing them and installing free-flowing roundabouts just like the existing St Mary's roundabout. This is Isle of Wight Council backward thinking from Foggy Taylor. This roundabout is not the issue. Coppins Bridge is the issue. Turn off the lights at Coppins Bridge and plough this money into the flyover over the river to reduce traffic heading through Newport. From Stacey Liu. If the people that have signed off this decision give a guarantee that if it doesn't do what it says, they'll individually carry every car across the Medina by hand, let's go for it. From Johnny Hartley. God help us. It'll be a nightmare. But when did they ever listen to us? from Trevor Hearn. Oh God, this is going to make something worse than Coppins Bridge. You watch the traffic back up on the Forest Road and the resultant log jam in Carisbrook. From Andy Davis. I'm not sure if I get this. Ensuring freer flow from St Mary's to go where exactly? The dual backs up from there, from Coppins at the moment. Where are they all going to go? From Neil Staley.
And another article on the same topic. Just add 15 minutes to your trip. Just add 15 minutes to your journey time was the Isle of Wight Council leader's response to the concerns about the St Mary's roundabout plan. Councillor Dave Stewart said, "It is managed disruption because people will be able to work their way through, but it might take a bit longer." He said people would just have to add around 15 minutes to their journeys during the works. However, Parkhurst Ward councillor Andrew Garrett said the council was not prepared for the impact of the works. He said appropriate discussions were not being had ahead of the project and urged the council to hold public exhibitions and prepare for the worst case scenario. He said, "It puzzles me as to why the council is so reluctant to talk to people about what this scheme will mean to their daily lives. If you talk to residents now, they can start planning what roads they will take." He continued, "I am very unhappy. I think it is better to be pessimistic rather than optimistic. If you try to be too optimistic and then things go wrong, you are always going to be trying to catch up." Councillor Stewart said the roads would be safer at the end of the project and care would be taken to ensure works were not carried out at peak times, such as Christmas and during the Isle of Wight festival. But Councillor Garrett said, "Overall, I remain sceptical that they are going to improve the situation overwhelmingly." He said the roundabout could be improved, but work on Coppins Bridge should have been the priority. "It is the wrong scheme overall at the wrong time with the wrong objective in mind," he said.
Pay up or we'll take your bins. A bullying and threatening letter from the Isle of Wight Council has told small businesses to fork out more than £500 a year or have their wheelie bins taken away. The letter reminds holiday lets and B&B owners about their legal duty to pay for a commercial waste collection. Property owners can either sign up to a council subscription service, paying £520 a year to continue using their domestic bins, or pay for a separate commercial collection. Otherwise, they've been told their domestic bins will be taken away and their property removed from the collection round. It has frustrated residents who say their guests produce negligible waste and their wheelie bins are not even filled. Sarah Jane Whale, who lets out one room at her Bembridge home, said, "It's just one room, one wastepaper basket, no breakfast. It's a tourist island. The council is going to damage the tourist industry like this." She's decided to stop letting out the room and has contacted accommodation websites to remove her listing, but the council has continued to scour the internet for evidence of her advertising her property. She said, "I haven't got control over Google. It's ridiculous. It's been very, very aggressive from the council." Richard Beat, who occasionally lets out a former chicken shed in his garden, said, "When we do have guests, they usually just have 2 small bags of rubbish. It wouldn't be worth us having a commercial waste company like Biffa to come round. My main objection is the bullying and threatening nature of their campaign letter rather than the need to follow the guidelines in the legislation. I accept that ultimately I will probably have to come to some arrangement under the law or close. He called the £520 subscription service, which is offered to properties operating as a self-catering accommodation for 139 days a year or less, and B&Bs using less than half of the property for guest accommodation, a ransom. A council spokesperson said, "The council is working hard to ensure we treat all businesses on the island with equity, but to also ensure that businesses are not subsidised by the public purse. We know some holiday lets and B&B owners are not aware of their legal duty of care to responsibly manage the waste they produce and have continued to access a free household collection service under the assumption business waste can go in the household waste and recycling bins. Business waste cannot be set out as household waste. Any business operating from home or other premises must arrange for a separate collection and disposal of their business waste. This applies across the UK. If owners also live in the property they are letting out, the council has asked for evidence the commercial waste is being collected separately from the household waste. Equally, owners are asked to provide evidence if the property is not being used as a holiday let or B&B at all. The Waste and Recycling Management team at the council said appeals from very small businesses would be reviewed on a case-by-case basis.
Neil had true grit. The family of Royal Navy veteran, former bakery owner and famed cricketer Neil Shuttler have paid tribute to him following his death at the age of 101. A well-known Newport character and father of 10, Mr. Shuttler was born in St. James's Street. Known as Shutty, he was a talented cricketer with more than 1,000 wickets to his name and spent hours at the County Press office gathering material for his cricket career for his book, From the Cradle to the Crease. Mr. Shuttler, who played for Newport Cricket Club for many years, later becoming an umpire and honorary member, was a key member of every side he played in, not only for his slow left-arm bowling, but also for his love of life, people and the game. On Fridays, he would work at his Newport bakery from 3 a.m, finish at Saturday lunchtime, then head off to play cricket at Victoria Recreation Ground. When Mr. Shuttler left the Navy in 1946 after distinguished service in the Second World War, he used £2,000 left to him by his grandmother to purchase Node Hill bakery business, E.J. Caddy. Baking was not new to him. Before the war, he had worked for Newport bakers A.E. Harvey. Mr. Shuttler met his late wife and the mother of his children, Dorothy, on a blind date in 1938. Following that very first date, on his walk home, he decided he was going to marry her, and he did. Dorothy supported him in the bakery and was a renowned finisher for his famous cream slices. His family said he didn't like waste and thought stale bread was fine to eat. We had a lot of bread and butter puddings growing up. He was always whistling when out and about and loved Al Jolson, so much so we had no choice but to listen whenever he played it, which was often. He liked to play jokes on family and friends and pull faces at the children to frighten them, but they knew it was in fun. His son Paul said he was always a joker. He had a real sense of fun. He was an avid chess player and loved cards too. Daughter Diane said he was a stalwart. He didn't give up and he had true grit. Former County Press reporter John Hannam said, "I feel privileged to have known Neil for many years as a good friend. I admired him as a person, appreciated his great love for his family, and enjoyed his company and great sense of fun. After 101 years of a very full life, Mr. Shuttler died peacefully last Wednesday.
Special family reunion. A very special reunion was attended by around 25 families whose children were all born at the island's Special Care Baby Unit. The event, held at West Alpacas and Llamas in Wellow, was organised by Kat Rushworth, who has worked at the maternity and special care units at St Mary's Hospital for 16 years. The families gathered at the farm for a day of fun with the animals. Kat said, "I thought it would be good for families to reunite and reconnect and celebrate with people that understand and can relate. Everyone who came to the event has been through the unit and knows what it's like, how scary and daunting it can be for a family when their child is immediately taken away from them. We want families to know they're not alone. It's not just the baby we're caring for, you've got to be mindful of the whole family." The farm, whose owners had their baby at the unit, provided free entry and alpaca walks. They also contributed to the raffle, which meant one lucky family won a free pass to the farm for a year. Speaking about her work at the unit, Kat said, "It's the best job in the world. I wouldn't do anything else. I'm always honoured and privileged to be a part of the family's life and their journey."
Surge in demand for Mountbatten services. The number of people receiving support from Mountbatten across the Isle of Wight has increased by 50% in 1 year. The Hospice Charity has published its 2018/19 annual review, which shows the number of people receiving support has increased from 581 in March 2017 to 1,320 people today. It attributed the rise to a number of new projects, including the launch of the Mountbatten Last Years of Life Coordination Centre. Mountbatten Chief Executive Nigel Hartley said, "Many people think hospices are just for the last days or hours of someone's life. The reality is the way people are dying is changing. We are living for longer, but with many more complex and multiple illnesses. We have adapted to this change, and by opening up our coordination centre, we are able to be there for people who are thought to be within the last 5 years of their lives, to better plan and coordinate their care so that they can live as well as possible for as long as possible." The charity said the review dispelled the myth Mountbatten received financial support from Macmillan or Marie Curie. It also illustrated how the charity needed to raise £8 million a year to ensure its services remain free to those who need them. Nigel said, "There is no doubt this cost will continue to rise as demand for Mountbatten's end-of-life services is also expected to increase. It is a fact that, even with this rapid increase in care, we are unable to support around 500 deaths that occur on the island every year. New projects, including creating a new volunteer army and enhancing the Mountbatten Neighbours scheme, currently running as a pilot project in some towns on the island." Nigel said, "We will not rest until the highest quality of end-of-life care becomes the norm for everyone, everywhere across our island community and beyond. Mountbatten's bereavement services are open to anyone who has experienced a death, no matter when or how the death occurred. The charity has a team of expert counsellors and psychologists who can support anyone, including those who have no previous experience of Mountbatten's services. The services are open to anyone, including adults, families and children.
Busy Bees at All Saints. Busy bees at All Saints CE Primary School have been working hard on their pollinators project. The children hope to encourage bees and other wildlife into their school grounds. More than 100 trees donated by the Woodland Trust have been planted to extend the ancient woodland, and deadwood has been left to provide further beneficial habitats. The school's old swimming pool has been converted into an allotment garden, with the gardening club planting fruit trees and bushes, as well as lavender, wildflowers and sunflowers. The children have also made bee houses and bee drinkers to help the bees in the drier months, while a small pond provides water for invertebrates and other wildlife. Hedges around the area have been laid by parents and local community members to improve the density of cover and stimulate greater growth, which will in turn promote flowering, and pollinators will benefit from the blossom and additional habitat provided by the thicker hedges. Pankhurst class have learnt about the importance of bees and their role as countryside stewards. A talk was given by Lois Cooper and Christine Armstrong of the Isle of Wight Beekeepers Association, who brought a colony of bees to share with the children. They have been delighted to see bees have moved into the school grounds.
Follow your dream, says mature student. Her parents had always saved a space on her wall for Sarah Dixon's graduation photo, and now that space has been filled after the 49-year-old graduated from university with a maths degree. The mum of 4 balanced her home life while studying 20 hours a week to chase her dream of graduating before the age of 50. Sarah Dixon of Nelson Street Ryde has graduated from University of Portsmouth with a first-class Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics with statistics. She had twice turned down going to university before finally enrolling 3 years ago, explaining her siblings were a big influence on her decision. She said, "My brothers and sisters all went. My eldest sister graduated 30 years ago. I didn't go as I stayed to have a family. I'd always wanted to, though. My parents have all my brothers and sisters' graduation photos on the wall, and they left a gap for mine just in case I ever did." Recalling the anticipation ahead of her first lecture, Sarah said, "Walking into a class of 121 other students, all of whom were late teens and early 20s, was one of the most nerve-wracking moments of my life." In addition to her degree, Sarah received the Graham Elliott Award for overall contribution for her work as a student mentor. The award is given to one graduate every year in honour of Dr. Graham Elliott, who enrolled at the University of Portsmouth as a student in 1962 and stayed on as a lecturer ever since. Sarah now wants to be able to help GCSE students on the island suffering from anxiety about maths to pass their exams. She also hopes her story will inspire other mature students to go for their degrees. Urging others to follow their dreams too, Sarah said, "You're never too old to go to uni. I've loved every second of it and I couldn't recommend it enough."
Mental health. We all need to be involved. Too many of us have seen firsthand the devastating consequences of mental illness. It's time to rethink how we tackle this issue. So said Theresa May last month launching her new mission to put mental health at the top of the agenda. Samaritan's Chief Executive, Ruth Sutherland, has welcomed the initiative, but she also warns it needs to involve everyone on a national and local level. Under Mrs. May's proposal, every new teacher will be trained in how to spot the signs of mental health issues. Young people can certainly face special challenges, and a recent BBC Woman's Hour series provided some useful guidance on how parents can help their teenagers if they think they are struggling. Island Samaritans speak out, but mental illness has no respect for age or occupation or where you live either, as Island Samaritans testify. Living on the island can be quite isolating if you have nobody close by, said Samaritan Kyra. Keeping in touch with others is vital to well-being and mental health. Samaritan Wendy said, I often receive calls from veterans experiencing post-traumatic stress. Hearing their stories and the long-term effect on their families is incredibly sad. However, just giving them the time to talk while we listen is a valuable role for a Samaritan. Another island Samaritan, Jan, said, farmers are facing tremendous pressure at the moment. They often living in isolated areas, and not surprisingly, depression and suicide levels are high in that profession. Removing the challenges. Nationally, Samaritans are currently pressing for urgent changes to strengthen suicide prevention in primary care. Produced in partnership with the Centre for Mental Health, their report, Strengthening the Front Line, calls for improvements in general practitioner training, effective care pathways for people who are feeling suicidal, and for the removal of some of the challenges GPs face when they try to refer patients on for further support. Island Samaritans are witnessing these challenges too. Those with mental health issues are very troubled and despairing, in many cases because there aren't the support services there when they are in crisis, said Samaritan Stan. A patient with an acute physical illness has to and does receive treatment straight away, adds Sam's colleague Janie. Many of our callers with mental health issues acute enough to make them feel like taking their lives have to wait months for any treatment. This inequality is very unfair and is costing lives.
Bus pass cuts plan slammed. Plans to axe free travel for people with a severe and enduring mental health problem have been criticised by the Isle of Wight Labour Party, which said bus passes were a lifeline for people living in rural, isolated communities. The Isle of Wight Council has launched a consultation on proposed cuts to the concessionary travel scheme to save money. Island Labour Chair Julian Critchley said, free transport may not seem much, but for some vulnerable adults it will be a lifeline, a way to get out of their room, to be in the same place as other people, and to meet a friend. We all know the cuts of this austerity policy have fallen disproportionately on the poorest and most vulnerable among us. I would urge the Council not to add this additional cut to the burden already borne by those who are in most need.
Ireland leads major EU marine project. An island company is at the forefront of a major international research project to support coastal marine life. There are around 100 vertipools, artificial rock pools invented by island company Articology that provide habitats for marine life including shellfish, squid, crabs and fish around the UK. That number will be doubled over the next 4 years thanks to the EU-funded €4.6 million project aimed at increasing biodiversity. The vertipools are fixed to harbour and sea walls, including on the island at Yarmouth, Sandown and Compton. They have also been placed at White Link's Fishbourne port, and the ferry company has teamed up with ecologists and engineers at Bournemouth University to take part in the project. Bournemouth University's Dr. Roger Herbert said, "Habitat loss is a serious threat to marine life as coastal development increases and sea levels rise with climate warming. We will assess how vertipools work in practice and how they can be designed for new structures and retrofitted to existing seawalls and harbours." Articology Director Nigel George said, "Articology is all about making space for wildlife in the places we build for people, whether that's a seawall or a city. There's so much more that we can do to boost urban biodiversity, and Marinef is exactly what's needed to push forward these ideas. The vertipools are cast in natural low-carbon concrete and hand-finished to provide interesting rough surfaces. Most harbour walls and coastal infrastructure have a smooth finish without any holes or grooves for species to attach to and hide in. Vertipools increase biodiversity by providing seawater pools, cracks and crevices for species to find cover at low tide. They will be installed in several places on both sides of the channel in the spring, including a new site on the island. We are delighted to join researchers and partners in this fascinating project," said Wight Link Chief Executive Keith Greenfield. "We value the diversity of the Solent's rich marine life around our ports and look forward to updating staff and customers on the progress of this research."
Bob backs PM Boris. New Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who recently visited the island, has been congratulated on his victory by Isle of Wight MP Bob Seeley. Mr Seeley supported Mr Johnson after switching from Michael Gove during the leadership campaign. Mr Johnson visited White Shipyard last month and attended a hustings-style event at Shanklin Conservative Club, where he spoke to Conservative Party members. Mr Seeley said, "Boris understands that not all the money should be going to places like London and Manchester. This is good news. I look forward to working with him to push forward with the Island Deal."
New equipment will help intensive care patients. The Intensive Care Unit, ITU, at St Mary's Hospital has taken delivery of new equipment for critically ill patients, funded by donations to the Isle of Wight NHS Trust Charitable Fund. The equipment will help ITU staff to make patients more comfortable when they are being moved. A new rehabilitation chair designed to accommodate specialist equipment for patients in intensive care will help staff transfer patients from laying in bed to sitting upright. Anne Hunter, Deputy Sister, said, "Rehab chairs offer more support for patients by supporting their heads, securing the upper body and making sitting in an upright position more manageable and comfortable. The chairs are great for staff too. They're light and really easy for us to wheel around." The team has 2 new transfer kits, including, for example, ventilation equipment that enable staff to deliver intensive care when patients are moved to another hospital. Anne said, "The transfer kits are used when we transfer patients by helicopter or ambulance. What we use at the bedside is in them, which is fantastic." The ITU team thanked everyone who has supported and donated to the charitable fund.
And it's goodbye from Chris.
And Brian.
Hello, this is Madeline.
And this is Chris again, reading the second part of today's County Press. Eagles will take our beloved pets. This is a letter from Peter Warren of Seaview. The taking this week of a Chihuahua puppy dog from a backyard in Devon by a seagull should bring our thoughts to focus upon the risks involved by the proposed introduction of the much bigger sea eagle to the Isle of Wight. This threat is a matter of concern to farmers and pet lovers alike. The recently published photograph of a lamb in the claws of such a creature gave rise to these fears. The risk is posed to small pets, red squirrels and lambs. In environmental terms, the endangered red squirrel is synonymous with the island. Why should that creature be put at risk too? Most people would agree with me. Pets quickly become very much a part of the family. I have 2 very small dogs, toy Shih Tzus, who like to bask in the sun in my garden. Does that mean that I will no longer be able to let them run freely out of fear for their safety without constant monitoring? The risk posed by this so-called reintroduction is horrific in its potential danger. The public needs to be made aware and warned against allowing this particular risk. And the editor's footnote: the licence has been granted for the reintroduction of sea eagles as early as this summer.
And from Tim Clark in Kelbourne, retain St Mary's Roundabout. Having glanced at the proposed scheme to destroy the St Mary's Hospital roundabout, I wonder if the responsible highway engineers actively dislike the populace. The new multi-junction will simply transfer existing traffic delays to side roads, thus creating further problems. Not only will it be complicated for motorists who are unfamiliar with its layout, e.g. holiday visitors, but it will be controlled by signals rather than practical, quick-witted human decisions. Traffic lights also tend to increase congestion, and near St Mary's Hospital that will result in extra CO2 being emitted by idling engines. Journey times will be longer, which may be irrelevant for Isle of Wight councillors, but it is quite important for ordinary people and the emergency services. Incidentally, roundabouts require relatively little maintenance, are environmentally friendly, and they enable long vehicles to change direction easily. Whilst merrily misallocating £9 million, the council callously ignores rural death traps such as the Vittlefields Cross junction, which should have had a roundabout installed many years ago. Highways are currently reluctant to even stop the nuisance parking at Boldner on the approach road to Yarmouth. As for a partial solution for the Newport Cowes route, just build a river crossing. Either a bridge or a tunnel would allow Cowes and Rye to be linked, and that would divert many cars and vans away from John Horsnell's infernal creation, the Coppins Bridge logjam. £9 million is not enough for a Medina tunnel, but it would be a start. If the Treasury can cheerfully spend £85 billion on a fancy railway, the government should throw the island some more small change.
Undercliff answer in drainage from Colonel J.M.C. Watson, retired, of Ryde. To understand better the background to the Undercliff Drive stability problem, I have referred to the latest copy of the geological map of the Isle of Wight, 2013. It is very colourful and I thoroughly recommend it. I am not a geologist, though I can see the map not only identifies Undercliff Drive as being within the biggest landslip zone on the island, but also shows the local geology immediately inland to consist of layers of sedimentary rocks with a huge thickness of permeable strata such as chalk, upper green sand and Monk's Bay sandstone, interbedded with impermeable layers such as galt clay, all gently sloping southwards. From the absence of colour shown for the undercliff itself, it seems to be an unknown quantity, but it is not surprising that, with a downfall of groundwater in the permeable layers pouring onto it, it slips and will continue to do so unless the right form of drainage is introduced. However, as undercliff drivers frequently slipped, even recently, 2014-2015, it would appear drainage measures installed to date have not been the right sort. I understand Southern Water is currently inviting suggestions for increasing water supplies, and that there must be a huge reservoir of groundwater in the Southern Downs just pouring away to waste at the same time as causing the undercliff to slip into the sea. Could its collection not be put to good use as a water supply while helping to stabilise the undercliff at the same time?
Think again and ditch school plan. From Steve Cowley, grandfather to 7 who have been pupils at, and of whom 4 still, attend the Shelfleet and Yarmouth Federation Schools, Yarmouth. A great injustice to the children of West Wight families is being planned by the Isle of Wight Council. Its plan is to move the children from All Saints Primary School to Yarmouth Primary School, so All Saints can be refurbished. Then Yarmouth School will be closed and the children move back to the All Saints site, calling it Yarmouth. These moves and overcrowding will have a damaging effect on the education of many children. It is well proven that this sort of disruption, especially mid-academic year, has a very negative effect on educational attainment. Good primary education is a fundamental life foundation for all children. It ensures good lifetime outcomes in many ways: good jobs, good social outcomes, and fulfilling lives. This plan is proposed by the Isle of Wight Council, despite all 3 good Ofsted-rated school governing bodies, Shelfleet, Yarmouth and St Saviour's, saying they do not support this plan. More than 90% of parents at Shelfleet and Yarmouth oppose this plan. 71% of those who responded to the consultation did not support this plan, but the Isle of Wight Council report justified the recommendation because 29% supported it. The success of the plan depends on the governors of both Shelfleet and Yarmouth, who are opposed to the plan. The plan is financially irresponsible, spending £300,000 on Yarmouth just before closing the school, then refurbishing All Saints, which will only add to the continued oversupply of school places in the West Wight, leading to further school closures. If the Isle of Wight Council is to be seen as financially responsible, it must think again and ditch this plan. If the council is to be seen as caring about the children currently in the West Wight schools, their teachers and support staff, it must think again and ditch this plan.
C for Council. From Richard Steele, West and Central Wight Branch Labour Party, Shorewell. I refer to the Isle of Wight C Cabinet decision to approve the next stage of the consultation process regarding the future of West Wight schools. The only positive thing that has been achieved is the scrapping of the first proposal to close All Saints and move the pupils to St Saviour's. Among other drawbacks to this was the necessity for many children to take a long walk along a narrow country lane in the dark, which could have had catastrophic consequences. That this crass idiocy was proposed gives some indication of the quality of research and decision making by those involved. We are now asked to consult on the second proposal by these same people. We have stated before we are opposed to any closure of rural schools and, yet again, the much vaunted draft island plan has been ignored. Also ignored are the views of the National Education Union. After all, what would they know about schools? Councillor Brading has stated the All Saints site is set to receive a multi-million-pound investment from the Department of Education. Perhaps Councillor Brading, whose expertise is as an ex-bank manager and thus uniquely qualified to talk about education, would tell us how many millions are available, what the conditions of any fundings are, how much has the flawed consultation process already cost, how much is the new school going to cost, who is the contractor, where are the plans, and why is the draft island plan not seemingly taken into account. If this was a piece of schoolwork, it would likely receive the comment, "Must try harder."
Junction works are for the best. From Councillor Ian Ward, Isle of Wight Council Cabinet Member for Infrastructure and Transport, Sandown. Readers will, I am sure, be aware of the Isle of Wight Council's forthcoming project to improve traffic flows at St Mary's Roundabout as part of the larger Newport traffic plan. The decision to proceed with the largest scheme in the package involving the St Mary's Roundabout junction was taken by Cabinet on the 13th of September 2018, having been refined in response to public consultation. This project is made possible by grant from government and is intended to future-proof this busy junction and its approaches against the considerable expected increase in traffic movements. It will also bring about immediate improvements for those using this junction, including improved cycling links to the hospital and better access to and from the industrial estate and college. I have publicly indicated that this project will start at the end of September. While this remains our intention, it will depend on the coordination of the first phase with other planned utility works outside of our control. Until those are finalised, we cannot give precise details over the exact timing and phasing. I can assure residents, as soon as we know this date, we will explain to local residents, road users, elected members, businesses and other organisations more about the scheme and its likely impact. As you would expect, key stakeholders impacted by the scheme, including St Mary's Hospital, the emergency services, the Isle of Wight College, B&Q and Southern Vectis, have already been consulted, and we will continue to liaise closely with them. As far as the public is concerned, I want to be clear that during elements of this scheme there will, despite planning to minimise this, be periods of disruption, and we will be appealing to motorists to use alternative journey routes and times in order to avoid the rush hours. While I cannot promise no road user will be inconvenienced, I can tell you the improvements, once made, will transform this part of the island's network for all those that use it.
Betrayed, from Hilary Webster of Northwood. The Isle of Wight Council Planning Committee is once again riding roughshod over residents' concerns, this time in East Cowes. It took no notice of Northwood residents or Cowes Town Council regarding a new estate to be built on farmland, so I don't suppose they will take any more notice of East Cowes' objections. I hope the mainlanders who buy these properties, they will not be affordable to young island families, do not bring any elderly relations with them. Not a single place can be found for my 76-year-old husband who is battling vascular dementia, so he has been dumped in Botley, Hampshire. More and more mainland developers are allowed to build and sell yet more estates. These new builds will then be advertised all over the mainland, as has happened before. So much for homes for local families. It would be interesting to know if any plans are afoot for the areas in which this out-of-control committee live. An ex-councillor assured me several times the Northwood development would never go through. What happened to him? He upped and moved. Maybe judicial review is needed.
And now from IWASP, or the Isle of Wight Against Scams Partnership. Summer is often scam season. Summer is here, and with it comes an increase in doorstep crime. Our vulnerable residents will be targeted by unscrupulous traders offering to carry out minor work for extravagant fees. We are asking everyone, residents and traders alike, if they notice something suspicious to let us know. For example, if a trader knocks your door offering to do work for you, do not engage with them. If it is safe to do so, make a note of any vehicle, colour, make, registration, and anything else you think might be useful and let us know. If we can, we will try to come out and speak to them. Remember, this may prevent a more vulnerable neighbour from falling victim to these traders. If you are a trader and notice someone behaving suspiciously, driving slowly around a neighbourhood and knocking on residents' doors, please do the same as above. We will try to attend if we can. If you run a hotel or holiday park and are suspicious about guests you have, possibly groups of men with vans staying a few days, then please let us know. To report your concerns, contact Trading Standards on 823371 during office hours or 101 for the police at other times. Reporting a scam. For advice on scams, call Citizens Advice Consumer Helpline 03454 040506. To report a scam, call Action Fraud 0300 123 2040.
And now an article by Jonathan Young, Nosh and Dash, a new unwelcome dining trend. So the school holidays are upon us once more. Yippee! Loads and loads of lovely tourists to liven up the place. Aren't they just great, pootling along the military road at a steady 45 to enjoy the view, when the rest of us just want to take a crack at the island land speed record in our clapped-out DL Regs and male menopause motorbikes. Playing kids' cricket on the beaches where once our dogs were free to roam, and filling up the pubs at tea time and at most other times of the day as well. It's this last bit which I blame for a recent DFL development. The folks who come down from London, setting up home or shop on the island, as people aren't the problem. We need them just as we need the tourist. No, it's the little ideas they bring with them, spread more by osmosis than anything else. And it's a particular one which I've only just become aware of. It's called the dining time slot. Decent pub food is something the island has always been good at for a while. It's not cheap, but neither should we expect it to be. What we should be able to expect, though, is an experience where the service matches the food quality. Being told by email after you've booked that you've got 90 minutes to eat up and get out doesn't do that. The dining time slot, aka turning tables, a reference to the aim of getting in 3 evening sittings per table, first came to Britain in 2006 when Gordon Ramsay imposed a 2-hour limit at one of his posh London joints. It's apparently now all too common in the capital, and it's lapping at our shores as well. No names and no pack drill on this occasion because the food was rather good and so was the service, and when the 9 p.m. bespoke chucking out time arrived, there were enough empty tables to render the whole silly exercise unnecessary, so that nothing needed to be said. Nonetheless, a gentle little reminder for our hospitality industry. The island's tourist season is shorter and more fragile than London's. For most of the year, you need us locals more than we need you. If we want fast food, there are plenty of less pricey options available. I'm even told that at a sushi joint just across the water, you can even grab your lunch from a conveyor belt as it trundles by. Of course, dining tables are for eating and not just drinking. And would you guys like to move on up to the bar? Would be a perfectly reasonable request. But personally, the first time I'm asked to move on in a way which spoils my evening will be the last time I eat there, summer or winter. Market forces work both ways.
And now some entertainment that's coming up shortly. The South Wales Male Choir are appearing at 2 venues shortly. The first, the Sandown and Shanklin Lions, present a concert, and that's together with local supporting acts at the St John Evangelist Church, Carter Street, Sandown, and that's on Tuesday the 6th of August at 7 p.m. The tickets are £10 and they are available from Janet on 07712 921 064 or Steve on 0783 4680 374. And they are also appearing in Ryde. The Ryde Lions Club are staging this concert with guest artist Cinnamon from the island, and this will take place on Thursday the 8th of August at All Saints Church Ryde, and that's at 7 o'clock, and the tickets are £10, available from Ladies Realm and Splash in Ryde, or online via email at ridelionsclub, that's all lowercase, at outlook.com.
Great Wonderfest. Handcrafted festival, a must for all the family. The Great Wonderfest takes place next weekend, featuring live music, DJs and a host of family activities and entertainment. Where else can you catch headliners like The Vamps and Busted, alongside children's favourites Peppa Pig, Rasta Mouse? Other acts on the bill, hosted by Dick and Dom, include Becky Hill, Connor Maynard, Blow Monkeys, Robin S, Sigma, Jaguar Skills, Brandon Block, Bez and Rowita from the Happy Mondays, Mr Jam and Don Letts. It's not all about the music though. Entertainment over the weekend will include fun activities including a Robot Wars arena, song and dance workshops, a bouncy castle festival, human table football, vintage fun fair, white trash skateboarding sessions and a unicorn day where festival goers can meet happy ponies. Peppa Pig will appear with little brother George, and the island's Adventure Activities UK will be organising water sports, wall climbing, human table football and body zorbing. There will also be an Awakening Festival offering holistic therapies and energising activities such as rave yoga. In fact, there is so much to do, the County Press has teamed up with organisers to produce a handy map for festival goers to find their way around and plan their weekend. Wonderfest organisers said, "The Great Wonderfest is a beautiful boutique festival created with love by experts. Our dream team have worked across the UK's finest shows from Festival to Glastonbury and will bring that experience and passion to this new handcrafted family festival. There will be a generous daily dose of madcap fun and games from hosts Dick and Dom, and laughs aplenty all weekend. The Great Wonderfest takes place at Ducksmore Farm, Newport, next weekend, and further information and tickets go to www.greatwonderfest.com.
Ventnor Fringe 2019. So much going on in one town. Ventnor Fringe is underway with nearly 150 performances of more than 90 different shows taking place in the town. The festival, which is scattered among several venues in town, is this year celebrating its 10th anniversary. As well as the big ticket shows ranging from music to comedy, there are several free events and some interesting smaller spaces to check out, including a 1930s Parisian book bus and intimate gigs in shops and homes. Two new venues are Hygeia House, an old pub which has been transformed into a theatre and gin bar, and the Magpie, a new big top tent in Ventnor Park. Comedy is well represented with a huge range of emerging talent fresh off TV shows such as Mock the Week and Have I Got News for You, with many acts hosting Edinburgh Fringe previews. Check out the town's churches for some more traditional sounds, or head to Ventnor Harbour for some exciting new music venue and local favourites. The festival kicked off with an opening night party at Harbourside on Tuesday evening with the Cat Skellington Jazz Band.
Tapnell Farm throwing late night shindigs. For those who enjoy taking their family to Tapnell Farm Park, they will be able to have fun for longer at the attraction, with late night opening throughout the summer holidays. On Mondays until August the 26th, the park will extend its opening times to 8 p.m, giving its visitors more time to explore the attraction. On Thursdays until August the 29th, the park will hold its Summer Sunset Shindigs event, staying open till 9 p.m. It will include circus skills, magic shows, a pop-up theatre and live music. On the final day, Tapnell will host an outdoor screening of The Greatest Showman, starting at 7:30 p.m. For more information about the entertainment on offer, visit the Tapnell Farm website.
To celebrate their 10th year anniversary and 30 years since the Beautiful South released Song for Whoever, the South are back with a UK tour. This impressive 9-piece band, featuring former members of the Beautiful South, including singer Alison Wheeler and lifelong sax player Gaz Birtles, will appear at Medina Theatre on Friday, November the 15th. Since Dave Hemingway, the original singer, left the group at the end of 2016, Gaz has moved across to the front band with Alison taking on vocals. The South plays the songs made famous by the Beautiful South, keeping all those timeless tunes alive, including the #1 single, A Little Time, Perfect 10, Rotterdam, Old Red Eyes is Back, Good as Gold, Don't Marry Her, plus many more singles and a few choice South originals. Tickets are priced £27.50. If you'd like to get a date in your diary for next year, Medina Theatre has just booked Dance to the Music for Sunday, January the 12th. From the Roaring Twenties with the Charleston and tap dances, this enchanting show moves through every decade of dance, finishing off with modern-day ballroom and Latin. Everything is sequence-linked by a clever, light-hearted script with plenty of humour and anecdotes, revealing the fun facts of showbiz life. Audiences are treated to more than 15 styles of dancing, performed to the biggest hits of every decade. Dance to the Music really is the ultimate family show, which can be enjoyed by all generations. The show features Lindy Hop, Jitterbug, rock and roll, hustle, funk, disco, breakdancing, street, hip-hop, contemporary ballet, salsa and the spectacular Argentine tango, all performed by the incredibly talented and versatile team of dancers. Created and choreographed by Strictly's Christina Rianoff, the show is hosted by Jake Quickenden. Tickets are £30 and there are VIP meet and greet tickets available from the box office, priced £45. Call 823 884 for more information. And for our readers, there's just a note about booking at Medina Theatre. If you book your seat by telephone on 823 880 and ask for seats in row K, you will find that there are no steps to negotiate. Guide dogs are welcome, but remember the seats can only be booked by telephone.
The Apollo Theatre, Pyle Street, Newport. Alan Parker's Bugsy Malone. The Mitre Players present the classic kids gangster musical performed by an adult cast. It's on Tuesday the 30th of July to Saturday the 3rd of August at 7:30. Tickets cost £12 and can be obtained from www.ticketsource.co.uk/Apollo External. The play is by Alan Parker and the words and music by Paul Williams.
And the annual Chale Show, which is staged at Chale Recreation Ground, Military Road, takes place on Saturday the 3rd and Sunday the 4th of August, 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. And there's a kids zone, horticultural marquee, live music, vintage and steam vehicles, a bar, fairground, arts and crafts, live action arena and food pavilion, and kids go free, and all profits are donated to charity each year.
Bar set high for return of popular Wight proms. With the inaugural festival a resounding success last year, Wight Prom returns next month with a host of all-star entertainers. Northwood House will welcome the 4-day festival kicking off on August the 29th with entertainment from an impressive ensemble. The festival will kick off on Thursday with Wight at the Movies, outdoor screenings of The Greatest Showman and Dirty Dancing. On Friday night, adopting the popular format of last year's festival, a Wight Laugh will take place, starring comedy legends Shappy Corsandi and Alan Davis. The Saturday afternoon will feature a performance of children's favourite Peter and the Wolf, followed by Wight at the Musicals featuring West End and Broadway star Ruthie Hensel performs. Last Wight of the Proms, starring Leslie Garrett alongside the Wight Proms Concert Orchestra, will close the event. Festival founder Mike Christie said, "Last year's headliners received such high plaudits, so we knew we had set the bar very high this year. We've been working hard to enhance the offering from last year and are delighted to have internationally renowned acts, together with another great lineup of local talent." The top-billed acts will be joined by island performers such as Company B, Theatre Train, the Rockefellers, and winners at this year's Isle of Wight Dance, Music and Drama Festival. We had a fantastic few days last year with a packed schedule. However, it was always the aim to offer the community as much variety as possible and to build and develop the festival each year, said Mike. Wight Proms is running a competition in the run-up to the event with a chance to win 2 Diamond VIP tickets for a Wight Laugh comedy night on Friday, August the 30th. The tickets include bubbly on arrival, guaranteed covered seating and table, and entry into the intimate after-show drinks reception with headliner artists. To enter, send your name and address to whiteproms@iwcp.co.uk. The deadline for entries is Thursday.
And some entertainment at Shanklin Theatre up until the end of August. Well, this evening is Carpenter's Gold at the Shanklin Theatre at 7:30. On Saturday the 27th, 80s Mania, that's also at 7:30. On Thursday, August the 1st, Beyond the West End at 8:15. On Saturday the 3rd, Jive Talking at 7:30. Sunday the 4th, Shawaddy Waddy at 7:30. Tuesday the 6th, Jimmy Germain at 7:30. On Thursday the 8th, Beyond the West End at 8:15. On Wednesday the 14th, the Fab Beatles at 8:15. On Saturday the 17th, ABBA Reunion at 7:30. And Thursday the 22nd, Beyond the West End at 8:15. The Island Savoyards present on Friday the 23rd of August, Sister Act at 7:30. On Saturday the 24th, Sister Act at 7:30. On Sunday the 25th, Sister Act at 2:30 and 7:30. And on Monday the 26th, Sister Act at 7:30. On Thursday the 29th of August, Beyond the West End at 8:15, and on Saturday the 31st of August, Quadrophenia, the album live at 7:30.
Now for the County Press local news and activities. North Wight. The community teapot is coming to Cowes. Members of the community are welcome to come along for a cuppa, biscuit and a chat in the parish room at St Mary's Church on Monday 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. No prices, just affordable donations. For further information, email community.teapot@mail.com. The Royal Ocean Racing Club will hold a 40th anniversary service for its 1979 Fastnet race next Friday, August the 2nd, 6 p.m. at the Holy Trinity Parish Church, Cowes. Competitors from the 1979 race, along with this year's competitors, starting next Saturday, will be there. Interested people from across the island are welcome. For more interest or to register your interest, email info@rorc.org. The Cowes Alzheimer's Cafe is not on during July or August. An art and craft group meets every Thursday in the parish room at St Mary's Church, Cowes, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Knitting, crochet, art, card making, tapestry, quilting and more. All welcome to join this friendly group. £1.50 per session. Call Heather on 298851 or just pop in. Whippingham Short Map Bowls Club play at Whippingham Village Hall on Monday from 1:45 to 5 p.m. New members are welcome and friendly tuition available. For more information, call Carol on 07974 785 415. Sing About, the music therapy group, meets on Thursday at 2 p.m. at St James's Church, East Cowes. On Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. until 12:30 p.m, the food bank in Cowes is open. Clients may receive food on presentation of a voucher. Donations can be received from the public. Tomorrow, Saturday, it holds a pre-loved clothing sale from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The cafe will be open for tea, coffee and homemade cakes. The Share and Care Club, £2, meets at Parkside Pavilion, East Cowes, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. encouraging people to reach out to their neighbours, bring along some pre-packaged food to share for lunch. Coffee and chat mornings are held every Thursday at East Cowes Methodist Church from 10 a.m. until noon. In central Wight, Club Dance Pegasus has beginner level ballroom and Latin dance classes every Tuesday evening at the Riverside Centre, Newport, followed by improver level, which include instruction and practice time. Intermediate classes are held on Thursday evenings. Come on your own or with a group of friends. Large dance floor, qualified dance instructors and licensed bar. For more information, visit www.pegasus-dance.co.uk or call 861 488. And in East Wight, Bembridge Lifeboat will be visiting Seaview RNLI next Saturday, August the 3rd, 10:30 a.m. until noon, for a family fun event with rescue and seamanship demonstrations, an opportunity to meet the crews, RNLI sea safety advice, how to check life jackets, and the RNLI pennant race. Seaview Yacht Club welcome race competitors of all ages starting at 11:10 a.m. £2 entry fee on the day. Ship's biscuits and sailor rations will be available at the Old Fort Cafe. The Rainbow White Singers meet on Wednesday at All Saints Church Ryde, 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Informal sessions with no auditions, £3 per session, which includes refreshments. Call Ada Coleman on 868546. An information point drop-in takes place for Citizens Advice Isle of Wight and Aspire Ride at Dover Street between 10 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. every Wednesday. During the drop-in, advisors will help you decide the way forward, which may include making a further appointment either face-to-face or over the phone, open to all members of the community. A chess club meets on Thursday evenings from 6 p.m. at Bembridge Village Hall, £2 per evening. Tea, coffee and biscuits available. All welcome. For more information, see the Facebook page Isle of Wight Chess or email chessplay@mail.com. A new community market will be held on the first Saturday of each month at Ryde Methodist Church from 10 a.m. until noon. If you have items to sell, including plants, produce, cakes and preserves, tables cost £5. Refreshments are available. The next market takes place on August the 3rd. Call Pauline on 563163 for more information. Circuit training takes place on Mondays and Thursdays at Nettleston Primary School between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. £5 a class, all fitness levels welcome, participants aged 16 plus. Thursday Bazaar takes place every week at Bembridge Village Hall, 9 a.m. until noon, with homemade jams, cakes, knitwear and other crafts on offer. Refreshments available. Seaview Fun Choir meets every Thursday from 3:30 to 5:30 at the Undercroft at St Peter's Church. Sessions cost £2 to cover the cost of refreshments. For more information, contact Wendy on 716 120 or 07413 028 326. Spring Chicks Keep Fit and Dance are daytime exercise classes for women over 40, held at Binstead Community Centre. There are a variety of classes at different times, so for more information contact Alice Blue on aliceblue@gmail.com or call 07775 838169.
And that's all we have time for today. So it's goodbye from Madeline.
And it's goodbye from Chris again.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Good evening. Diversity has been a buzzword in business for many years now. In a nutshell, it says that companies should reflect all of us on their boards, on their staff and as customers. But behind all the warm words, do businesses really get it? Visually impaired businesswoman and campaigner Caroline Casey thinks that when it comes to disability, they don't. This video illustrates why.
We believe in marketing to everyone. We don't want to single out disabled people for special treatment because that's, they're too valuable.
So you don't market to anyone specifically?
We do. We do to everyone who fits in with the core brand message, which is as much about inclusion as it is about embracing the future of.
So we're really active in helping and supporting other companies within this sector to solve that problem. Thanks for asking.
Disability is something we feel is very important in this business going forward. I think 2019 is going to be an exciting year to be disabled.
Yeah. So this is Bill, isn't that right, Sharon? And you're on our diversity page on our website, aren't you, Bill?
Yes, I'm the only one currently.
Tremendous addition to the team.
Yeah, disability is something that we are committed to investing in very soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When? 2020?
Ice caps.
2021?
Mindfulness.
Do you have a year in mind for people with disabilities?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, just watch this space. That's what I can say. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I think you get the idea. Well, now Caroline has thrown down a challenge to the CEOs of some of the world's biggest companies to put disability on their board's agenda and to make a specific commitment. She launched Valuable 500 at Davos earlier this year, where big business has its annual bash. She's been telling BBC Business producer Johnny Cassidy more about her aims for the campaign.
The Valuable 500 is asking 500 CEOs that employ over 1,000 people to put disability on their board agenda and make a commitment to action. The reason is because we want to end the disability inequality crisis and we want disability equally represented in business, not to be the poor cousin on the inclusion and diversity strategies that exist.
Diversity is being taken seriously with LGBT issues, with the gender divide, with ethnicity, but why do you think it is then that disability has always, as you say, been the poor cousin to the rest of those?
Well, there's a few things, but one of the things I would say is there's still a lack of understanding about the huge value of the 1.3 billion people in the world and their families who have a disability. The second piece, and that's why the Valuable 500 exists, is because leaders, we haven't had a business leader stand up and with and for, 15% of our global population. Like we've had many leaders for other issues. 7% of our business leaders have a lived experience of disability, yet 4 out of 5 of them hide it.
Why do you think some of these business leaders are scared to embrace disability?
I mean, I hit my visual impairment too. So, I went into the corporate world and I never told anybody I was registered blind. And the reason that I didn't tell anybody at the time of something of which I am ashamed for is that I was worried that it would stop me doing the job I wanted to do, or that I wouldn't actually get the job, where people would look at my disability and my sight, not look at my potential and my skills and my personality, that they would define me by a medical condition, not about who I was and what I had to offer.
What do people have to actually do to sign up to the Valuable 500?
The signature means that they will have disability as part of a board conversation in 2019 and will make a commitment to action. That commitment to action will be logged on our Valuable 500 website before Davos of 2020, and then we will ensure that that commitment is done.
And how can the boards, the chief execs of these boards and the chief financial officers of the boards be held to account
I think that's really important because this is not a PR campaign. This is a movement that I created having to remortgage a house. And it's been really hard to make this happen. So I am going to make sure that people deliver on their word. And that's why the signature of the CEO is very personal. You sign something, you are going to deliver on your commitment. But actually we are asking the public and the media, and that's why it's so important to be sitting here with you, because as we log those commitments and as we log those actions that they say they're going to do, we will make sure that they do that.
Obviously you can hear the passion. You're very, very passionate about this. Does this come from personal experience? Does it come from a personal place?
It is personal. I was born with ocular albinism, but my parents didn't tell me I had a sight condition. I found out by accident when I was 17 because I went to get my driving licence, which is hilarious. So it's very personal that I felt it's nobody else's fault, it's my own, that I had to hide my sight or my vision for fear of not belonging or fitting in or getting the life I wanted. But related to the driving licence, so this is one story that I often tell. The company that I run to make the valuable 500 a success, we were over in America and we needed to get to a place that you had to drive a car. And I had one of my team with me. Now, obviously, I can't drive, but I hold a company credit card because I'm the founder of the company. And so we went to hire the car and I was passing over the credit card details. And the gentleman said, so, well, you're the driver of the car. And I said, no. I had my white cane in my hand. And I said, no, this is my team member and she's sighted, so she needs to drive. And I was just joking. And he went, but you can't because she needs to use the credit card, not you. And I said, but it's a company credit card. I'm the one who has a credit card, but she needs to drive. And he said, well, I'm going to need to see your driving licence. I said, but I don't have a driving licence because I can't see. And he said, well, unless the driving licence matches a credit card, we can't do business with you.
How, right now, can you measure the success of this?
Well, the most important thing is the disability community itself and all our partners said the missing piece with engaging business and disability to bring that gap smaller is we needed the commitment from the very top.
And do you think we could go down the lines of quotas or numbers? We've seen it with the 30% club for women representation on boards. Do you think that we should be getting to the stage where companies should be reporting the number of disabled members of staff?
You know what? I've always been against quotas because I really believe if you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Well, actually you don't. You need a bit of both. You need carrot and stick. And frankly, I think one of the other reasons that disability is not equally on our inclusion agendas is that we're not reporting on it. So one of the things that we should be seeing, and we should be challenging these 500 CEOs when we get them, is to make sure that disability performance is reported on equally and it's tied into the strategy of the business. Wouldn't it be magnificent, Johnny, in a few years' time that we can see that disability performance is integrated into business indexes like the FTSE for Good? Because you cannot get up high on that index if you do not report on disability. We need to put this into the business, not keep it aside, not keep it separate, not keep it special, because we're just part of any system like anybody else.
I think, we'd all agree that in an ideal world it would be fantastic. How far away from that do you think that we are?
I think one of the biggest problems in the business excuses not to make this happen, and I'm not angry with business for it because I think this is just the reality of the systems that have been set up, is that we are categorising humanity into gender, race, LGBTQ, red hair, disability, and we are pitting them against each other. We are creating hierarchies of inclusion and exclusion when business only has a finite amount of resource and they say, well, we can't do it all. And I don't think this is going to be accepted anymore, that we are categorising each other and choosing one over the other. And you can feel that. And the second thing that makes me more excited than anything, I think the next generation really have a very different attitude to belonging and inclusion and identity. And they are not going to accept this anymore because they choose the companies they work with, they choose the companies they spend money with, and they don't think it's okay. I think we have a chance. I really do, because the business case is compelling, but the human case is so much more.
Caroline Casey. Well, listening to that is James McCarthy. He's Employment Manager of Blind in Business. And at the sharp end of this problem, Blind in Business is a specialist charity that supports blind and partially sighted graduates and professionals to get jobs which reflect their talents. James, first of all, tell us about Blind in Business's approach to persuading companies to take on visually impaired employees.
We often do a consultancy and an education piece with the recruitment teams of businesses, because they come to us and they say, we want more disabled people to apply for jobs. We're aware of it. It is on the agenda. But if people aren't applying, if people aren't showing that interest, we don't know what we can do.
And which is likely to be more effective, do you think, boosting numbers on boards or pressing those who recruit to try to get more visually impaired people into jobs?
Obviously, in an ideal world, you'll be attacking on both fronts. For me, the problem is, across the city and definitely across the UK, diversity and inclusion is on the agenda already, but it's so low priority that people aren't doing anything about it. Where we can do work with those decision makers who are actually deciding who gets a job and who doesn't, we can see a real immediate impact. It's a very high numbers game. So in the city, I think it's only 1 in 100 graduates that apply for a job will actually get the placements. The current status quo with recruitment is we need to make this as quick and easy as possible. What can we do to get our list of 5,000 down to 500 we'll take on board? And unfortunately, at the moment, diversity and in particular disability isn't considered. So often we come in and we try and make separate recruitment streams for disabled people. Their skills and their abilities are taken on board without just getting lost in the numbers.
And if they ever do get down to disability, is there a hierarchy there in terms of who people think they can hire and who they can't?
Absolutely. It's all about risk. And I think disability and diversity, people are looking for easy wins. So there are some disabilities where if you've got a wheelchair-friendly office, they'll feel confident taking someone in a wheelchair. But when you talk about things like blindness or deafness or visual impairment or even different learning difficulties, people don't know how to approach it, and it can be quite a taboo topic. And when you're in a high intensity, high numbers routine, often it's easiest just to kind of turn away and go with those easy wins.
And I mean, can you give us a sense of which factors of visual impairment scare them or worry them or make them feel they don't know what to do?
Oh, it can be wide-ranging and bonkers. Often, because it's new and often different technologies involved, there's the question of how exactly do you do the job? Because I use my sight every day in nearly every aspect of my job. I can't understand how you could do it.
So this is the recruiter talking, or this is what they say. Yeah.
Often the recruiter. And then the other side is the grander perception of risk. I think Caroline touched on the awkwardness that surrounds disability. I think people around disability get nervous that they now have to be a carer. They have to show someone to the toilet or cut up their food at lunch or help them cross a road every day. Whereas really, a good business's responsibility is to treat a disabled person like anyone else. Put the technology and support in place for them to do the job independently, rather than feel you've got to hold someone's hand and make extra work. The other side of our work when we're not dealing with businesses is doing mentoring and coaching. People are growing up, and if they're growing up visually impaired, we often see parents are too overprotective. Teachers don't try and push students to achieve as highly as other students. I think just to get by is taken as a win, where it should be going to the best universities, getting the best jobs, getting promotions, making chief executive. That should be a win, but currently it's just not expected of disabled people. So it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy that you won't be successful.
Just looking at possible solutions, I mean, Caroline rather rejected the idea of quotas, for example. What's your own attitude to that?
I think, much like Caroline, I like that there should be a carrot and there should also be a stick. No one should ever have their job questioned. You shouldn't have that one disabled person in the corner and everyone in the office thinks they're only there to fill a quota. But there are incentives that I think have been really good. If you take the apprenticeship levy, for example, this has done so much to get apprentices into work. Can it be incentivised that diversity and disability are going to be a financial factor for recruitment consultants? Because if they're getting an extra £1,000 in their pocket at the end of a month, I think they'd care a whole lot more.
James McCarthy of Blind in Business. And that's a classic In Touch reminder of the way in which visually impaired people can compete successfully, given the chance. But there are times when we think it's our job on this programme to provide the chance to discuss situations where blindness can make things tough and try to come up with some answers. Situations where you know what's happening, but you don't have enough information or physical ability to take charge. Take the experience of Emily Brothers, who told us what happened earlier this year when she was walking with her guide dog.
I'd been to a Labour Party meeting locally and was walking back home with 3 friends. We walked along the road up to a common area called Sutton Green around about 10 p.m. at night, and we were just approaching the green when 2 dogs came from literally nowhere from the green, and one of them pulled Truffle by her harness and took her forcibly around 20 yards away and then proceeded with an attack. As you can imagine, it was very scary. I initially shouted. That didn't help, so I pulled out my smartphone and hit emergency services and spoke to them in a rather desperate way that Truffle was being attacked, and my friend Phil then waded in amongst the 3 dogs and very bravely pulled Truffle out.
You must have been terrified, Emily.
It was terrifying, and that sheer feeling of hopelessness, that there was nothing I could do, and the realisation that if I'd been on my own, Truffle may well have been killed, or her injury is so extensive that she would never have worked again.
Do you feel more vulnerable now as a blind person following this incident?
Yes, I find it difficult, the feeling that I can't sort it.
Emily Brothers talking with Dave Williams. The dog recovered physically, but that sense of powerlessness had clearly stayed very vividly with Emily. And Damon Rose's experience also concerned a guide dog, although in this case not because of physical danger, but as you'll hear in Damon's tone, impotent frustration.
Right, here I am in the rain. It's Monday morning, and I've just had a driver drive away from me. We're back to the usual taxi situation here. I have a guide dog. There he is, DB. He's in harness. The taxi arrived. I got a message from Uber saying your driver is waiting for you, or something like that. I came outside and I was looking around. Obviously I can't always find a taxi immediately, can't work out where it is, and I heard a car, a motor kind of motoring away gently, leaving, not past me. So, well, yeah, that's it. Yet another. I only reported another driver last week, and this is getting upsetting. It's tipping it down right now, and I wanted to get to work early.
If we're honest, we've all had things like this happen. Becoming temporarily lost, having a credit card misbehave in the machine but not knowing what it says. You're moving house, but there's so much going on, so many moving parts, you feel powerless to contribute. Things we have the nous to do, but because of lack of sight, we don't have the cues to make decisions. It can make you feel small, not the grown-up you know you are. And that's what we'd like to explore in a future programme. Not to whinge, but to look for solutions and share our stories. You can leave your messages on 0161 836 1338. You can email in touch at bbc.co.uk, our website bbc.co.uk/in touch. And you can download tonight's programme from there too. That's it from me, Peter Wight, producer Lee Kumatat and the team. Goodbye.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Scaffolding news for Friday the 26th of July 2019. The list of known footway obstructions for works including scaffolding, hoarding, also details of skips, cranes and cherry pickers. We are unable to include end dates as many are extended on a week-by-week basis. Cowes area. Current scaffolds: Cameos, Bath Road Cows, Ship and Castle Inn, Castle Street East Cows, 1 Beckford Road Cows, 1 Terminus Road Cows. Current skips: 4 Pelham Road Cows.
Newport area. Current scaffolds: Units 1, 2 and 3, 32 High Street, Newport. 117 to 118 High Street, Newport. Precision Hair, 50 St James Street, Newport. 102 High Street, Newport. Age UK, 114A Pyle Street, Newport. 113 Pyle Street. Pending Cherry Picker. Junction of Standen Lane and Burnt House Lane, Newport.
Ride area. Current scaffolds: 35 to 36 High Street Ride. Flats: 31 to 36 Mary Mead Close Ride. 22 West Street, Seaview. Boots: 170 High Street Ride. 18 High Street Ride. Wrights Estate Agents, 187 High Street Ride. Greenham's Newsagents, High Street Ride. Pending scaffolds: Royal York Hotel, George Street Ride. 43 Nelson Street Ride. Current skips: Carita, Stane Road, Seaview. Parking bays at High Park Square, School Street Ride. Celadine, Stane Road, Seaview. Pear Tree Cottage, Circular Road, Seaview.
Sandown and Shanklin area. Current scaffolds: Wilmar Dorkin and Vermiper Cottages, Church Street, Newchurch. Former Lloyds Bank, High Street, Sandown. United Reformed Church, Langard Road, Shanklin. 42 Fitzroy Street, Sandown. Hurst's, Regent Street, Shanklin. 49 Regent Street, Shanklin. Pending scaffolds: 23 High Street, Shanklin. Current cherry pickers: Downsview, Sandown. Pending cherry picker: junction of Town Lane and York Road, Sandown. Current skips: Stower Place, Sandown. Lake Railway Station, Lake Cliff Garden Path, Lake. Pending skips: 5 Atherley Cross Road, Shanklin. Current hoardings: Premier Inn 1 to 9 Esplanade, Sandown. Pending mobile crane: Premier Inn 1 to 9 Esplanade, Sandown.
Ventnor area. Current scaffolds: corner of Trinity Road and Madeira Road, Ventnor. 1 Boniface Road and into Trinity Road, Ventnor. 32 Pier Street, Ventnor. Pending cherry picker: junction of Zigzag Road and Ocean View Road, Ventnor. Current skips: 16 South Street, Ventnor. West Wight area. Current scaffolds: Vectis Vapes, Avenue Road, Freshwater. Hurst's, 9 School Green Road, Freshwater. And vehicle crossings under construction: The Meadows, Colwell Road, Freshwater. 19 Brownlow Road, Lake. 2A Heath Road, Lake. And 8 Pitt Street, Ryde.